story about a little guy that lives in a blue world. And all day and all night, and everything he sees is just blue. Like him, inside and outside, and everything is blue for him and himself and everybody around, 'cause he ain't got nobody to listen.
Thanks for joining. My name is Dave Miller. I am the Unpleasant Blind Guy. How can you spot the breakdown of a society? Some indications might be that when you begin to see tangible proof that crime does pay, when good law enforcement officers begin to be assassinated, and when their calls for help and support fall on the deaf ears of self-serving politicians. Such was seen in the time surrounding the first anniversary of the Black Lives Matter terrorist attack that killed 5 Dallas police officers on July the 6th and July the 7th, 2016. Now, not every story I'm going to relate is pertinent to that event, but all of them relate to my first statement. And we begin with an article brought to my attention by Sam Mirajovsky on Twitter. This is by Robert Patrick for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, dated June the 24th, 2017. Headline: Secret settlement in lawsuit over Brown's death was $1.5 million. Ferguson. An insurance company for Ferguson has agreed to pay $1.5 million to settle a wrongful death lawsuit filed by the parents of Michael Brown over his 2014 death, a lawyer said Friday. Ferguson City Attorney Apollo Carey told the Post-Dispatch in an email Friday morning that the insurance company paid $1.5 million on behalf of multiple defendants. Brown's parents were suing the city, former Ferguson Police Chief Tom Jackson, and former police officer Darren Wilson, who shot Brown. U.S. District Judge E. Richard Weber approved the secret settlement Tuesday. In his order, Weber did not mention the amount, writing only that it is, quote, fair and reasonable compensation for this wrongful death claim and is in the best interests of each plaintiff, end quote. Weber said the split of the amount between Michael Brown Sr. and Leslie McSpadden, quote, is fair and reasonable, end quote, and the agreement, quote, provides for a reasonable amount, end quote, for attorney fees and expenses. Settlements involving public entities are generally open records under Missouri law, but Weber ordered the agreement sealed and said that it should be considered a closed record under the law, quote, due to the adverse impact to plaintiffs should it be disclosed, end quote. Disclosure of the terms of the settlement agreement, Weber wrote, could jeopardize the safety of individuals involved in the matter, whether as witnesses, parties, or investigators. The public policy to consider records open is outweighed by the adverse impact to plaintiffs. State law does require that the settlement amount be released, and Casey disclosed the amount after open records requests from the Post-Dispatch and at least one other media organization, the Associated Press. The Post-Dispatch reported on Monday that a settlement was near and that it would be less than the $3 million limit of the city's insurance. Lawyers on both sides and a board member of the insurance company declined in recent days to comment on any aspect of the settlement or what led to it. All sides faced risks if they took the case to trial. Peter Joy, professor at the Washington University School of Law, said that had the city lost, the insurance company would have paid any judgment up to the $3 million limit, but Ferguson would have to pay any amount above that. They would also have to pay lawyers' fees and costs. A trial alone could have cost $100,000 for just one side, he said, and he guessed that they'd already, quote, sunk a lot of money into it to get to this point, end quote. From the Browns family's perspective, that's how they wrote it, folks, they could have lost at the trial, or they could have prevailed but been awarded less than the $1.5 million, he said. Plaintiffs' lawyers, working on a contingency basis, typically take 33 to 40% of a settlement, and then the plaintiffs have to pay costs and any taxes, Joy said. The Brown family's 2016 lawsuit says that a police culture of pervasive hostility toward African Americans led to the death of Brown, age 18, on August the 9th, 2014. Wilson used excessive and unreasonable force, the suit says. Ferguson, Jackson, and Wilson denied the claims in court documents. A St. Louis County grand jury declined to indict Wilson, and the U.S. Justice Department declined to prosecute him, saying evidence and credible witnesses supported Wilson's claims that Brown attacked him. And there you have it. A thug robs a convenience store, roughs up the owner, then attacks a police officer and tries to take his gun, is shot and killed in the process of committing these crimes, and his family gets a sweet, sweet payout of $1.5 million. And people, let's be real about what this was. It was pure blackmail. Pay up the family or face more riots. And the city of Ferguson folded. Meanwhile, in the city of New York, yet another police officer was assassinated. Listen to this appeal, brought to my attention by a good friend of the show, from an NYPD officer shared in video on Twitter.
Since Officer Familia was killed, 4-6 precinct, New York City Police Department, the one thing I want to know is, where the hell are all the celebrities now? Where's all the sports teams wearing NYPD stuff? Where's the hands up, don't shoot people? Where are you right now? Why is it every thug, every career criminal, every piece of garbage, low-life scum of the earth gets the attention when they're shot and killed for breaking the law, for threatening others, for victimizing people? When they're shot and killed by the police, they become heroes. Their families become millionaires. You got a New York City police officer, mother of three, out there, sitting in a gang-infested precinct, sitting there in a high-visibility post to deter crime. She's just sitting in a vehicle. And this coward walks up and shoots her right in the head. That's a victim. Of course, these morons will swing it that this guy was a misunderstood youth, victim of the system, and he was angry at the police. And others will say it's the police's job. The risks are there. They know the risks, so they get killed, they get killed. That's a person that chose that job to make a difference. That's a mother of 3 children. She went to work and didn't come home. Where the f*** are you now? Where are the celebrities now? I don't hear you. I don't see you. And believe me, society sees that. You want to make a difference? You want to be a celebrity? You want to be an athlete? You want to mean something? You want your life to mean something more than a trophy or some BS award that you get? Do the right thing. Support your police.
The culture in our cities, people, has to change. Our law enforcement officers have to be able to protect themselves while they protect the community. And no, I'm not covering for racist police officers. Law enforcement officers proven to be racist should be banned forever from wearing a badge. But that is an extremely small portion of the men and women who go on watch every day to keep us all safe. But our politicians seem less concerned with their safety and with the safety of the people that they protect than they do with their own politically correct reputations. Some of that came to light in this report dated June the 29th, 2017, by Jack Douglas Jr. and Ginger Allen of KTVT-TV Channel 11 Fort Worth, Texas.
New information tonight into an investigation the I-Team first broke at 6.
It's been nearly 1 year now since 5 officers lost their lives in an ambush on police in downtown Dallas. Many of the officers say one call that night may have cost lives.
Investigator Ginger Allen joining us right now with a look at who the officers are blaming.
We continue this tonight. The I-Team has been told officers were ordered to keep some of their protective gear in their vehicles, told not to take it out as they headed to the rally that turned so deadly. Tonight, the Dallas Police Association is pointing fingers directly at the mayor and the former chief of police for mistakes made 1 year ago.
It all stops with one person, chief of police.
Dallas Police Association President Mike Motta goes straight to the top brass, blaming former Dallas Police Chief David Brown for a call that he says made July 7th so deadly.
He should have made better calls, and he didn't.
Calls that could have saved lives.
Calls that would have prevented the loss of life.
Motta tells the I-Team officers assigned to the rally in downtown Dallas last July were told if you have rifles, leave them in your vehicle. And if you have protective gear, body armor, and helmets, do not wear it.
They were not allowed to wear that.
They were told not to.
Yes, they were told not to.
Do not bring that out.
Do not arm up. I know the command staff for the city of Dallas and city leaders did not want to portray the police department as a form of militaristic view. And so those heavy vests and those helmets that could have protected those officers were sitting in the trunk of their cars.
The I-Team has also learned since the deadly ambush, at least a dozen other police departments have stocked up on rifles, helmets, and heavy-duty vests as a direct result of what happened in their backyard. Motta says 60% of the Dallas officers have used their own money to buy better equipment in the last year. He says Dallas has not spent a dime to provide them new protective gear. Officers point to Mayor Mike Rawlings.
That's a favor that falls on his desk. We always can find the money to build a golf course, to build a deck park, to build a bridge, all these signature projects that the mayor loves to talk about. But when he makes promises to the police and fire that we're here to protect you, action speaks way louder than words.
Motta says the city does not want to spend the money equipping officers with tools that might offend or intimidate the public. Simply put, he says past and present leaders are putting image before safety.
They don't see it as a priority. It's only a priority when he gets them on TV, and then it's a priority. And then as it calms down, they don't want to talk about it anymore.
We could not reach former Chief Brown for comment, and DPD did not respond to our request. Mayor Rawlings, meanwhile, did send the I-Team a statement saying the department has taken numerous steps to better protect our officers through the purchase of equipment and donations from the community. You can read his full statement, and it's a long one, on our website at CBS-DFW.
You know, we were talking about this earlier, Ginger. It's amazing that we're just now hearing about this. Coming up on the 1-year anniversary, now this bombshell that, you know, they could have had some more protective equipment with them.
And we sat in that interview and said that, wow, why are we just not hearing this?
Body armor and protective helmets for duty at a rally of known supporters of the murder of police officers? No. Possibly offending someone is more important than the safety of mere law enforcement officers. And if a few of them get killed, hey, better not honor them. At least that's what one well-known Dallas County Commissioner decided at a rather important vote brought to my attention by Kenneth McClinton, host of the exceptional conservative show and purveyor of TECN TV. Here's a report updated July the 5th, 2017 by the staff of Fox4News.com for KDFW-TV Channel 4, Dallas, Texas.
What should have been a ceremonial event to honor fallen police officers became really a heated dispute about whether blue lives, black lives, or all lives matter.
Friday marks 1 year since 5 police officers were murdered in downtown Dallas. The state has already designated it as a day to honor all fallen officers. Dallas County Commissioners were set to do the same thing this morning. Fox 4's Sean Rabb had the only camera in court as the discussion took a decidedly different turn. Sean.
Yeah, it did, Heather. The debate because Dallas County Commissioner John Wally Price disagreed with the reason for the resolution, arguing one group, law enforcement, under pressure nationwide for excessive force and killing at times unarmed men and women, should not be honored unless all are remembered.
Whereas the law enforcement profession is an inspiring, honorable duty.
July 7th, the day 5 Dallas officers were ambushed and murdered, designated by state lawmakers as Fallen Law Enforcement Officers Day, to remember all Texas officers who've died in the line of duty across history, 128 from cities in Dallas County.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
Commissioner John Wiley Price.
It's interesting in this country how you again continue to try to frame the narrative with regards to other people who had loss of life at the hands of law enforcement.
Like protesters nationwide, Price taking umbrage to Blue Lives Matter, saying until we start to recognize all life,
no life is more important than any other life.
And I agree with that, Commissioner Price, but if you go by that premise, we wouldn't do anything.
Dr. Teresa Daniel tried to press her voice.
As public servants, don't we have a responsibility to stand up and
say something?
All the time. All the time.
Yes, sir.
Not when it's politically expedient.
Well,
all
sir,
the time.
I would like to think that the five of us do that.
What drove the narrative, not justifying it, what drove it was the loss of life.
Price pushed back, saying deadly police violence, sometimes unjustly, is what pushed July 7th.
There's only a small percentage of officers that are in that category, less than 5%.
Sheriff Lupe Valdez defending the honor of not only the 5 who died July 7th, but all killed in the line of duty.
It's not that we die because everybody dies. It's how they died. We need to continue as people in blue to make a difference so that both sides, both of us hurt when somebody dies. It's not officers go home safely. It's let's all go home safely.
Well, when it was all over, the resolution passed 4-1, Price again abstaining. July 7th, like the state, flags across the county will be lowered to remember all law enforcement who've died in the line of duty.
Now, people, I know the reputation of John Wiley Price of old. Just look up his record. If there has been a wrong side of an issue in the city of Dallas, Texas, or in Dallas County, Texas, Price has been on that side. This individual has, for at least 30 years, been well known as a camera-grabbing race grievance monger, ready to take any and every opportunity to divide the people of his city and as many others as possible, thus enriching and empowering himself. His abstention was not about recognizing that all lives matter. It was just to place a poison pill in a ceremonial vote, ironically meant to honor people who have sworn to take care of even him. But hey, if there's money and power to be had, why not ride that politically correct pony all the way to the barn, right? And Mr. Price is far from being alone. I may make some people angry in the city of Dallas, but having lived and worked there, I have to say that there are some really great things about Dallas. But Dallas will never truly be the great city that it aspires to be, as long as people like John Wiley Price are allowed to dominate its politics. The people of Dallas, the people of Ferguson, the people of St. Louis, Charlotte, Baltimore, Chicago, New York, Houston, Los Angeles, all of our major cities, and all of our smaller cities and towns have got to make a choice. Are we prepared to buy the breakdown in polite society for the price of political correctness? When is it going to be time for us all to stand up against the organized forces of racism, Islam, and anarchy that are marauding in our streets today and causing those who style themselves our leaders to cower in their offices, paying out big settlements so that they'll hopefully leave good citizens alone, which we know they won't? People, it's time that not only should we support our good police, but we should elect real leaders who recognize that while peaceful demonstration is at the heart of the American discourse of ideas, when those demonstrations interfere with people's conduct of their regular daily business, impact their personal property, or cause physical harm to others, it is time that the full force of the law be operated to stop those acts of criminality. You know, I've seen it said that this issue won't be resolved overnight, and I agree with that. But people, we have to make a start. Now remember, people, you can get hold of me at UBG Contact on Twitter. That's where you can contact me with comments, questions, show suggestions, Awesome American suggestions. It is the main contact point for the show. And remember, I'm also Dave Milner on Facebook, Tea Party Community, and Connect with Liberty. And I'm Agador, that's Aggedor, on Gab. And now it's time for the Awesome American segment. And this time's Awesome American made me think back to a previous show. Check out this story by Diana Davis of KAIT-TV, Channel 8, Jonesboro, Arkansas.
It's the sweetest of surprises, and we're not even talking about the desserts this woman makes. June's Great Acts of Kindness winner features a woman familiar to many. As Diana Davis reports, Regina McKay doesn't just feed the hungry, she fills their hearts, spines, and souls with love.
It's not every day you get to cut in line at a restaurant right at noon.
Hello.
But we did it for good reason.
Here, we're looking for Regina McKay.
To recognize a woman who would rather remain in the back, taking little credit for the things she does.
You are our next winner in the Great Acts of Kindness. You feed this community. You've fed people who are homeless. You've given them jobs. You have taken them blankets and clothing. And you are a wonderful friend for this community.
This is what God wants us to do. Take care of each other.
Friends, family, and customers filled her restaurant to capacity last Friday at noon, all for the woman who has made a difference in their lives.
You so deserve it. Proud of you for the person that you are.
I don't know anybody that deserves it more than you do.
I appreciate it so much. You drove 5 hours for this chicken.
Joe Kai knows firsthand what Regina does for others.
Especially someone like me, because I have been in prison for the last 8 years of my life.
But Regina saw Joe's potential and put her to work.
Gina took a chance on me and hired me, and I just, every day that I worked here, I loved it.
So when it was time to leave and go back home, Joe left her with this necklace.
I don't always see them, but good friends are like stars. You always know they're there.
And this is my girl. This is Paula. She's new. This is her second day here.
Is a cancer survivor and needed help paying her bills, so Regina hired her.
She puts legs on her actions. She's probably the kindest, most compassionate, giving person I've ever met.
This is perfect.
Giving is important to Regina.
Help a homeless person when you travel.
She collects blankets and socks and gloves for the homeless. And she brings the community in to participate.
To get a blessing, you have to give a blessing.
And yet life has taken much from her.
As an adult, I struggle with depression because, I lost my son in 1982. He died at birth, and I never really had any closure from that. And then I lost my dad in April of 2014, my mom in November 2014, and then my little brother in December 29th of last year. And it's like the grieving, you can't get over grieving one before another one dies.
All three were involved in the business she carries on today.
My mom and dad and I opened this in 1983, April Fool's Day, 1983. We'll have to get the big dumpling pan.
Home-cooked comfort food became their trademark.
Booyah! We love you! How are you?
All right. Couldn't find a more deserving person.
Well, KAIT and First Community Bank have some money. 400, 5, 6, 7, 8, $408.
Bible says you do stuff and you don't brag about what you do. You help your brother out when you can, and that's what I do.
And the blessings just continue. The day we surprised Regina at her restaurant, all of her friends packed in, and soon she ran out of food. She told us that little rush helped her reach her budget for the month.
no doubt making for other opportunities for helping others in the future. Now, if you would like to nominate someone for the Great Acts of Kindness, just go to our website and fill out the nomination form. Diana Davis, Region 8 News.
Now, people, if you go back and listen to my Christmas show, you'll hear me talk about how those who have trouble celebrating Christmas because they've lost someone or for some other reason can be a shining star in someone else's life. Well, Regina McKay lives that every day, and that makes her an awesome American. And that's it for this time. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for listening, and may your God go with you. Goodbye. The Unpleasant Blind Guy is copyright 2017. Anno Domini.